What's up, board gamers, articulate American English accent speakers, and learners alike? We're here looking at IPAchart.com. That's www.ipachart.com. That means International Phonetic Alphabet. And what the phonetic alphabet is something that we talk about every now and then, which is an international, so it's not distinctive for just one language or country, way to basically spell out the exact specific sounds that can be comprised in a given word in whatever language that word is part of. So that's important because, as we know from English, words are often not spelled the way they sound, or they're spelled in a way that could be pronounced in 2, 3, 4, or many different ways. So spelling, as we know in English, can only give you a clue usually, at most, about how to pronounce it. But the International Phonetic Alphabet can take every phenome, or word, in our case, we're looking at words, for a given language and say, all right, what are the different sounds that make it up one by one? Boom, that's how you say it. The International Phonetic Alphabet is all about how you say it. So we're going to be looking at some of these letters here, some of these characters, and talking about which ones appear in an American English accent, a perfect American English accent, and which ones might be misleading or that you want to get rid of. So, you'll notice that they can be categorized, that obviously there's vowels and then consonants, and then there's even more types of consonants. We may not need to get into all of those just yet, and many of these will not appear in most English words, at least as North Americans would pronounce them. Some of these will only appear in certain languages or what have you. So we're just going to keep this more simple, just so that you know this is here. There are several fine websites where you can find not only the chart of different characters, you can see what the characters look like, and you can see how they sound by clicking on them. So here's this one here. E. 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 That's a great one to start with. And the reason I want to start with that is because E is a tricky one for many people who are either learning English or trying to master their American English accent. Maybe they already know how to speak English, maybe they're British or Australian, maybe they learned English and they live in China or in Poland or any other country, but they'll say, all right, there's these sounds here. I see an I in a word, like I see the word fit, and sometimes that thing with the dot, this is a dot right here. My big fist is just a dot. This is the I. You'll see that I and think, oh, we say that as E. E. Sometimes we say it as E, but often it's I. I. This is important because this is the difference between lizard and lizard. Lizard. If you want to look like you're foreign, and there's nothing wrong with being foreign. We love foreign people. God bless them. That's awesome. Welcome. All that. Not getting into that. But there's nothing wrong with American English not being your first language. But if you're here at this channel, at this playlist at least, you are interested in learning how you can master your American English accent, or you just think I'm funny or you want to make fun of me, that's fine too. But in either case, you're going to want to know that I is different from E. And that's not just an accent thing. Obviously, it's part of the accent because the way you pronounce a given vowel or consonant or put them together or tonality will affect your accent. But it's not just some random arbitrary thing. It's something that wise folks, clever people out there have actually measured, put down on paper, and described. So here is that E sound, like feet, which we spell E-E, but sometimes we say an E, and we do spell it with just an I in English. E. 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 So I've noticed that many people learning American English, again, this is all they can think of when they see an I. Or, even if they do think of more than just this sound, they can't help but move toward this direction. They can't help but sound a little bit too much like E. But there's this other symbol here, this other character And forget about the characters, the IPA. This is just as a frame of reference for us. This is just so that we can look at this and know that these things have been codified. They've been quantified. They've been put down on paper, ironically, because they're all about what's not on paper. They're about what you hear in your ear. Let's all go and drink a beer with some deer. What am I doing? All right, so E. Here is the I that we probably see perhaps more often in American English when you see the letter I.
E.
Fit, bit, written, hip, limb, trick, lick, hip, rip. I zoom in, I get close to the camera, not just because I want to creep you out, that's part of it, or because I want to show you my crooked teeth. I do this so that you can focus and imitate on the mouth shapes that I'm making. Rip. Notice how
E.
is different from E. Now, one thing you may find quite obvious is that when I make this E sound,
E.
I'm sort of smiling more. I have a wider, the lips get wider. But if I go they tend to stay closer. Now, if you're a master at linguistics in American English, you can make both sounds, basically, without widening the mouth. Lip, leak, lip, leak, rip, reek, or rip, reap, rip. Let me look at my own. The camera's over here. Rip, reap, rip, reap, rip, reap. So, what is the difference? Well, you can make that E sound happen more obviously by widening the lips, but that's not what you want to count on when you're looking at the difference between those two. You're going to want to count on the tongue position in the back of the throat, the back of the mouth rather, not the back of the throat. So with lick, the tongue seems to stay a little bit more in the middle of the back. Whereas leak, eek, you kind of flatten the tongue more. Try to feel the difference in your own tongue when you say lick versus leak. When you say Liz versus Lees. Lizard versus leezard. Leezard is not a word. Leezard is a clue that you haven't learned your American accent perfectly yet. So, let's practice. Practice here. Liz, Lees. Lees, Liz. Lees, Liz. I'm trying to show how you can do it without even moving your lips that much, to show that a lot of the action, a lot of the activity happens in the back of your mouth rather than with the lips. You can pull it off with your lips. Lick, leak, lick, leak. But you don't want to count on that. And also it can overly articulate it. And that's not even where most of the sound's distinct quality is coming from. It's coming from the back of your mouth with how you flatten or position the tongue. Leak, eek, e, e, e. Can you see? E, e. You sort of are almost like a Y noise. You're kind of almost slightly biting the sides of the tongue. Whereas le, you're not doing that biting. You're not pressing the tongue near the teeth. So practice that distinction. We will hopefully get into all of these in due time. Thanks for checking in with me today on Perfect American Accents. And remember, the best accent is the one you already have, but you're here because this is fun, and we have fun together. All right, I'll see you.